Yo, what's going on guys, Arekkz here and welcome back to another Destiny video. And in this video I thought we'd take a super quick look at some more stuff ahead of the heroic version of the Wrath of the Machine raid tonight. Namely, the 2 remaining nodes in your Rise of Iron record book, some of the loot that you'll be able to get from hard mode, and also a note on challenge mode. So if you do enjoy this, then like would be super appreciated. Comment down below if you have any questions, but let's get started. So, if you guys open up your Rise of Iron record book, you will know that there are 2 nodes on the raid page that have question marks on. The one on the left is called High Speed Crash, and this requires that you complete the Wrath of the Machine Siege Engine encounter, i.e. the Death Zamboni, on Heroic in under 6 minutes. Now, on the current difficulty, normal mode, it's really easy to do this in about 4 or 5 minutes, and if I'm completely honest, while I could be very wrong, I personally don't think the Siege Engine encounter is going to change that much in Heroic, especially when you consider there is a timer attached to it, so I do believe most of the changes will come in Vosic and Axis. So this one should be pretty straightforward. Of course, the main thing you do need to bear in mind is the enemies will be stronger. There may well be more enemies or kind of more elites or anything, so do watch out for those. But when you are doing the Wrath of the Machine encounter, if you want to do it as quickly as possible, you're either going to need to, if you go down the bottom path, then have someone run ahead and deal with the mines. There is, however, a path over the top where you can kind of walk across the beams and dodge basically all the mines that are on the ground. So if you are looking for a speedy way to do it, then that is an option. But either way, complete it as quickly as possible, as efficiently as possible, making sure you're passing around the parts with minimal downtime and you should be fine. As for the other node, that is called Meddle with Metal, and it simply requires that you complete Wrath of the Machine on hard mode or heroic. So just by completing it, that will then be done. Those are of course the 2 remaining nodes. If you guys have done everything else in your book, then once those are done, it will be complete. Be interesting to see whether the book completion just leads to the final thing, which is the emblem, or whether it actually leads to some kind of quest. That could be really cool, but of course, until that happens, we won't know. So on top of that, now that you're actually heading into hard mode, it's worth noting there'll be some specific loot that you can get this time around. You'll of course be able to obtain the weapons that you haven't been able to get in normal mode, namely the hand cannon called Fever and Remedy, the pulse rifle called the Steel Medulla, the sniper rifle called Ex Machina, and the machine gun called If Materia. There's also a brand new ghost shell, the Amalgam shell, which looks really cool. I personally do like the normal mode one because of these sort of little nodes on it, but as we know with ghost shells, sometimes the picture you see in the thumbnail doesn't necessarily do it justice. It could well be that when you actually get it out, it kind of glows red or something, but we'll have to wait and see for that. There is of course a whole new set of gear, the Splice gear. Now I've spoken about this a couple of times in previous videos, so I'll kind of gloss over it really quickly, but the Splice gear is of course the predominantly black gear, and it also comes with ornament slots, so if you want to turn it from this into this, then that is what it's for. Do bear in mind, however, that ornaments come from challenge mode, not heroic mode, so basically, you'll play through Heroic, you'll get your new set of gear, and then when they do release Challenge, then you can start changing the way that it looks. And speaking of Challenge Mode, one final note, on the Destiny app, when you actually take a look at the Wrath of the Machine raid, there were a couple of challenge modes listed. Obviously, they won't be live tomorrow. It was probably just a bug or, something that kind of came in the update. But either way, they listed challenges for Vosic and for Axis, but not for the Siege Engine. Now, do bear in mind that Kingsfall, which is of course the only other raid that has challenge modes, had one for War Priest, one for Golgroth, and one for Arekkz, who are, let's be honest, the 3 main bosses. Whereas if you look at Wrath of the Machine, technically speaking, while the Siege Engine is an encounter, it's not really a boss per se. So it does make sense in that respect that there would only be 2 challenge modes, or again, at this stage it could just be that it simply wasn't updated, and there may well be one. So that is something we'll find out later on. I would imagine we'll probably get challenge mode next month, because of course we have the heroic difficulty this week. I imagine within the next kind of week or so we're going to get Festival of the Lost, because we are approaching Halloween. So I think it would be fair to say that challenge mode will come soon after that. Anyway, that's what we need to know going into the heroic raid tonight. If you guys have any questions, by all means drop them down below. I will be streaming my first run through the heroic raid today, so if you do want to check that out, you can find that over on Twitch. And of course I'll have guides up on the channel later on talking about how the encounters have changed since normal mode. But until then, thanks for watching, take it easy, catch you next time, peace out.